Breaking news regarding the Diddy trial. A day before closing arguments are to begin, prosecutors just dropped a bunch of charges against Sean Diddy Combs. Now, specifically, the charges that are being dropped are kidnapping, attempted arson, and aiding and abetting trafficking. Now, in doing this, prosecutors sent a letter to Judge Subramanian basically saying that they were just trying to follow the judge's instruction in regard to streamlining this process for the jurors. But the reality is that prosecution feels that they fell flat on their face in trying to prove that Diddy kidnapped both Capricorn Clark, his former assistant, as well as Cassie in a certain instance. And then not surprisingly, and related to the Capricorn Clark thing, they're dropping the attempted arson because they didn't do a good job when they brought Kid Cudi in trying to directly link Diddy to that fire. There is definitely circumstantial evidence there, but nothing that proves that he was directly linked. And here's the thing, it doesn't mean that he didn't do it. It just means that prosecution did a very poor job in that instance trying to connect the dots between Diddy and that fire. And regarding the trafficking, they didn't really go into any explanation on that. However, the first two, the kidnapping and the arson, those are related to the RICO charges. And remember, they're not dropping the trafficking charges, just certain elements of it, like aiding and abetting. Now, going on from that, prosecutors did say in their letter that they wanted the jury to have instructions that just because women like Cassie and Jane had given prior consent to certain acts, it doesn't mean that consent can never be withdrawn. There are a couple more things that prosecutors said in that letter that they want to make sure that the jury knows. For example, just because a woman, Jane specifically, received compensation does not preclude a finding of forced labor, which refers to the trafficking. And as for trafficking, prosecutors also want jurors to know neither physical restraint of the alleged victims nor commercial acts are required to prove coercion in trafficking. Anyways, this is a major and unexpected turn in this case. We will be following the close.
Hold on, wait. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. Hold on, we got to back what he just said up because that's important. What did he just say?
A finding of forced labor, which refers to the...
All right, here we go.
Trafficking. As for trafficking, prosecutors also want jurors to know neither physical restraint of the alleged...
All right, neither physical restraint...
victims nor commercial acts are required to prove coercion in trafficking.
Ooh, so that means... physical restraint or lack thereof is not going to prove or not enough to prove that it was not trafficking. Okay, that makes sense. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Sorry, I'm an hour late. I had a whole bunch of Facebook stuff. I had a Facebook representative call my assistant, and we had to get on the phone and talk to them for about a good hour. So I'm here. Make sure to drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. For those who don't know, the majority of the charges have been dropped from the Diddy case. Now, I think there's only one charge left, to be honest with you, but almost all of the charges have been dropped. And why is this? Well, these videos are going to explain this in like 5 different ways. So all of these videos are going to show you a different aspect of how and why these charges have been dropped. Each one of these people, I listened to them and I learned something new. So the next video may say somewhat the same thing, but they're going to use it in a different way where you just like, oh, okay, that makes sense. All right. And then I got videos that are going to go against everything that the first group of people have said. So stay to the end because I got a lot of information to share with y'all. So let's get it. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at and hit the thumbs up button.
Anyways, this is a major and unexpected turn in this case. We will be following the closing arguments tomorrow. Definitely make sure to hit that follow button if you don't already, and drop your thoughts on you think what's going to happen now that we know that prosecutors are dropping some, but not all, of these charges against him.
The prosecutors in the Diddy trial just sent the judge an 8-page letter, tweaking jury instructions and dropping some charges. So let's break it all down.
Tweaking jury instructions. Tweaking jury instructions. That part right there is very interesting. What were the jury instructions at first, and what are the new jury instructions? And if anybody in the chat is a lawyer, you can add some light on what jury instructions mean. But I can only assume that they're like, okay, this is the evidence, and this is what we want you to do with it. So if they're tweaking jury instructions, is this different evidence? And are they to do something different with said evidence? That is a very interesting phrase. Changing jury instructions. What are they instructing the jury to do, think, or deliberate on versus at first? Hit a like button, hit a like button, hit a like button, hit the like button.
I'm an attorney and I read what happened, so you don't have to. First, what they're dropping. The government tells the judge that it's no longer planning to proceed on 3 theories. First, attempted kidnapping under California and New York law. Second, attempted arson under California law. And third, aiding and abetting trafficking. Those instructions vanish. Leaner charge sheet for the jury.
Aiding and abetting trafficking. Aiding and abetting trafficking. He is the trafficker. So why would he get charged with aiding and abetting when he's the actual person? I'm just a little confused. This is a lot of information, y'all.
Government tells the judge that it's no longer planning to proceed on 3 theories. First, attempted kidnapping under California and New York law.
So no kidnapping. And the reason why there's no kidnapping, because like I said from day one, all these goddamn people, whether it's Cassie, Jane Doe, or whoever else, everybody wanted to be there. So they had to drop the kidnapping charge because nobody wanted to leave. Nobody wanted to leave. So you can't sit here and charge this man with kidnapping when didn't nobody want to leave. And I kept saying that. What's up, Pammy Pam? What's up, Layla Proctor? What's going on? What's going on, Rudy?
Second, attempted arson under California law. And third, aiding and abetting trafficking. Those instructions vanish. Leaner charge sheet for the jury. Second, what they wanted to add. Prosecutors say that trafficking and forced labor laws are, quote, extremely complex, and jurors may carry, quote, preconceived mistaken notions. They asked for 7 clarifying mini instructions, including 1. Earlier consent is not determinative. That consensual interactions before doesn't erase trafficking later. Second, that payment is not determinative. Victims can still be trafficked even if rent or cash changes hands.
How? Wait, what?
Including 1. Earlier consent is not determinative.
Earlier consent is not determinative. So if you told me that you are open to do these freak offs yesterday and you get here and you change your mind, that's understood because earlier consent is not whatever she just said. Right. But when did they say no? Earlier consent versus later consent is all the same thing. Nobody from all the testimony we've gotten thus far, the only person that ever said that Diddy R-worded her, which is, no consent, is Kim Porter in the Kim Porter book. And everybody said the Kim Porter book wasn't real. No person that has taken this stand has said Diddy took the ass. And y'all let me know if I'm wrong. Am I right or am I wrong? Cassie didn't say he took it. Even the girl that accused him of hanging her off the balcony didn't say he took it. None of the dudes, well, the dudes in my video said they took it. The kid, like a whole bunch of people in my videos, that I've done said that he took it. But according to the testimony, nobody's been kidnapped and nobody said no to Diddy. But let me know if I'm wrong in the chat.
That consensual interactions before doesn't erase trafficking later. Second, that payment.
How? How is it trafficking and you consent to it?
Payment is not determinative. Victims can still be trafficked even if rent or cash changes hands.
I want Diddy to go to prison. I'm just trying to understand what's actually happening.
Third, cumulative conduct test. Jurors may weigh years of threats, not
Cumulative conduct threats? What about imprisonment? Who the hell was imprisoned, Felicia? Name one person that testified and said, I was imprisoned. Like, name one person. Name one person that said that they were imprisoned. You can't, because nobody was imprisoned. Everybody was welcome to leave. And then what's crazy is everybody was jealous of the other person that was dating Diddy after they pulled away. Dawn Richardson did not say she was imprisoned. Dawn Richardson went up there for like 30 minutes and went home. Tell me what Dawn Richardson said. She didn't say she was imprisoned. And you let me know what you seen, because I may have missed a day. I may have missed a part of the deliberation because I was not there. So I can't sit here and say what somebody said or didn't say against what you saying, because I was not in the courtroom. So I could have missed something. But the only thing that I read and heard that Dawn Richardson said was he hit her before and she came downstairs and he witnessed Cassie get hit in the head with a frying pan. But it wasn't any type of situation where somebody was captive. But like I said, y'all let me know what y'all seen, because I wasn't in the courtroom. I could be wrong.
one incident.
Oh, shit. She said he locked her in a car. Yes, I remember that. You're right, Felicia. You are 100% right. You are 100% right. He did. Okay, so I go back on what I said. Yes, he locked her in the car, almost with the frying pan. Well, that's not imprisonment, but imprisonment is locking somebody in the car. So yes, that is imprisonment right there. So yeah, you're right.
4. No physical restraint requirement. A victim can be trafficked even if the escape was theoretically possible. 5.
Okay, wait. That's what I'm saying. This woman right here is extremely thorough. Let's listen to it again.
Not one incident. 4. No physical.
Hold on. 4 incidents. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. We got to get an understanding of this.
Trafficking later. Second, that payment is not determinative. Victims can still be trafficked even if rent or cash changes hands. Third, cumulative conduct test. Jurors may weigh years of threats, not one incident. 4. No physical restraint requirement. A victim can be trafficked even if the escape was theoretically possible.
Nobody wanted to escape. They keep using the word escape like somebody was a damn slave. And somebody said, how you lock somebody in a car? I don't know. I don't know. All I can say is she's a woman. And I think you can lock a woman in a car. You can't lock a man in a car, but I think you can lock a woman in a car. Sorry, but women just don't. Some women don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. So I can easily see you being able to lock a woman in a car and her not being able to get out the damn car. I'm sorry. I've never heard, especially except for a Tesla, and anybody can be locked in a Tesla. But I'm sorry, but I think you can lock a woman in the car. All you got to do is just hit the lock button and she's not going to know how to get out because she's a woman. So I'm just saying. So I've never heard of nobody getting locked in the car, but you can lock a woman in the car. I'm sorry.
5. The defendant need not pocket the money.
Some women don't even know how to put gas in their car, let alone unlock a goddamn door. Like, women, y'all, like, what are you gonna do? Like, how many times have y'all seen women put dishwashing fluid in the place where oil is supposed to go, or they'll take some transmission fluid and put it in a damn oil. Like, women don't know that when you mix a woman with a car, all bets are off. Because women act like they don't know how to drive, don't know how to do anything with a car. Let her get a flat tire. Oh my God, my life is over. It's a flat tire. So yeah, like, women, car, I'm never going to sit here and argue with somebody and say, yes, a woman can be locked in a car. I'm just going to be like, okay, because I have to believe you. Like, what are you talking about? When you mix woman and car in the whole scenario, the woman is not going to know what the hell she's doing. Women can't back into spaces. Women can't parallel park. Women don't know how to put oil in the goddamn oil thing. Women don't know how to... The only thing a woman knows how to do with a car is hit the gas, hit the brakes, hit the blinker, and put gas in the car. But I'm not. Hey, we talking about Diddy right now. Don't you just pull the latch on a car door to open? Not if it's locked. Not if it's locked. Not if it's locked. It's certain luxury cars where the lock button be in different places. So a man is going to try to figure out where the hell the lock button is. Or a man will literally pull out his phone and Google where the hell the lock button is. But a woman is just going to sit there and start crying. And that's the difference between a man and a woman. A man is just going to sit here and just not panic. And he's just going to say, okay, because I'm going to give y'all an example. I used to sell cars. And I got in I got in some type of luxury car before, and I couldn't find I had to put gas in a luxury car before I sell it, right? And I couldn't find, where you pop the gas tank. The little door on the gas tank had to boop, and I couldn't find the door. I just pull out my phone and say, hey, where is the gas door popper in this type of car? I think it was a Bentley. I forgot what it was. It was either a Bentley or something. And I just Googled it and I found it. But a woman, she's just gonna be like, oh my God, I don't know how to put gas in the car. And she's just gonna start acting a fool. So I could see locking a woman in a car with no problem. And her ass to stay in the car and just be sitting there crying instead of trying to figure out how to get out. Is this a woman? Women don't necessarily have a certain wherewithal when it comes to problem solving.
A third party can receive, quote, the thing of value. 6, commercial act need not occur. An attempt is enough. And 7,
Wait. Sorry, y'all. What's 5?
If rent or cash changes hands. 3rd, cumulative conduct test. Jurors may weigh years of threats, not one incident. 4, no physical restraint requirement. A victim can be trafficked even if the escape was theoretically possible. 5, the defendant need not pocket the money. A third party can receive, quote, the thing of value. 6, commercial act need not occur. An attempt is enough. And
commercial act may not occur.
7,
okay.
Expanded reckless disregard language to show that Combs knew or ignored coercion signals. Why the push? Prosecutors argue that without these clarifiers, quote, the jury may misunderstand the applicable law.
Shit, I'm misunderstanding the applicable law. Applicable law. So yeah, that makes sense. Do y'all understand these damn laws that she's talking about? I don't. And I don't rewind the shit 3 times. So I now understand why they did not want to give the jury this technical shit, because I can't even say the word applicable right. 8, not guilty. I was agreeing with Mr. Let Go until you said women don't know how to do anything about a car. You know damn well women don't know how to do shit when it comes to a car. A woman to have a doctorate degree and don't know shit about her own goddamn car that she don't have for 3 years.
And the defense might exploit the confusion. So what's next? The judge
What's up, October 3074?
can accept, tweak, or reject each line before closing start tomorrow on Thursday. Leaner charges but sharper definitions could tighten the government's case just before the jury gets it. So let me know, was trimming counts a smart strategy, or do you think it's a sign that the case is slimming down?
Felicia said I could change a whole transmission. Okay, Felicia. All right. Okay. Some women then, okay? Some women, okay? I got you.
Do you think the prosecution proved its case?
Remember, there are different charges here, right? There's racketeering charges, there's sex trafficking charges, and there's a charge of transportation for the purposes of engaging in prostitution. Why?
Yo, I'm just joking, y'all. I know women know how to do stuff. I'm joking. I'm messing with y'all. I know it's not all women, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Racketeering charges, there's sex trafficking charges, and there's a charge of transportation for the purposes of engaging in prostitution. Why am I pointing that out? Because the last charge is definitely the strongest one, meaning the one that is probably the easiest for the prosecution to prove. Why? Because all they need is the jury to believe one of the prostitutes who testified saying, I was paid to engage in prostitution and was brought across state lines to do it. In that case, I think that they've got a pretty strong case.
The thing about this is if they are smart, shout out to Wendy. Wendy just pulled up just in time because I got this from Wendy. If the defense is smart, if they were filming the freak-offs, all they have to say is they were filming corn. And the only difference between corn out there and his corn is he hasn't put it out. And all he has to say is he's waiting on all these corn videos to be accumulated, and he's going to package them all up and sell them all to corn corn flicks or something. Yo, corn flicks, like corn flakes, is hilarious. Somebody needs to that's something right there. That's a trademark right there. Corn flicks, like corn flakes or Netflix, that is hilarious. That's all he has to do. Your Honor, the reason why we were paying people to come here and to have sex is we're starting a new app called Cornflix. That's all they got to say. And guess what? Corn of any kind, even with animals, I think, is legal. Shout out to Cornflix. I need to trademark that just to do it. Somebody might pay me a whole bunch of money. Cornflix is crazy.
When it comes to the other two sets, it's close. It's going to be very close. Again, I think the RICO, the racketeering, going to be the hardest. Sex trafficking next. And this one, the most likely of a conviction.
Combs did not testify, but the defense not putting on any witnesses at all. What did you make of that?
You know, that tells me that the defense believes that there is enough reasonable doubt that they do not need to put on additional witnesses. Because remember, any additional witnesses also opens them up to additional cross-examination. And there may be information that you do not want them to get into, or it just may not be beneficial for your case. Less is more sometimes, especially with these type of sprawling charges.
And now it's time for the closing arguments. But what does each side need to do? Sean, I'm going to start with you. Take the prosecution for us. What do they need to do in the closing arguments?
So the prosecution really needs to shore up their cases and connect.
At a coffee shop and play this fun dating card game. We'll have fun and see if we're compatible all at the same time.
Ooh, what's the name of the game?
Just a quick commercial break. Everybody, if you have not already, hit the like button and buy my Deeper Discussions card game, y'all.
Hey, how about we meet up at a coffee shop?
Just a commercial break. I'll be right back.
And play this fun dating card game. We'll have fun and see if we're compatible all at the same time.
Ooh, what's the name of the game?
It's called Deeper Discussions.
I'm down.
Okay, meet you at 6.
Fellas, buy this card game. Ladies, buy this card game. Buy about 2 or 3 card games. The main reason why people can't stay together isn't because they don't like each other no more. It's actually because their present family issues come up or their past family issues come up. But when you play deeper discussions, you'll be able to understand a person's family issues up front.
This game can be played with either 2 people or an entire group. So have fun.
Question number 1. Name a time when money was the main factor why a relationship went bad.
Deeper Discussions Dating Edition. Again, these cards are good for vetting a potential boyfriend,
Candidate.
a potential girlfriend, a potential husband, a potential wife. The texture of these cards are so soft and silky, by the way. Like
They ain't gonna get
really
wore out. after you-
durable.
A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.
And just so y'all know, my card games are at a discounted price for a short amount of time. So make sure to hit the link that is in the chat or go under this video and you'll see my card games under the video. Hit the link and buy my card games. I got a 2-for-1 sale. They because this card game right here is usually $62. All right. It's only $25, I think. $25 or $35. So it's on sale right now. So some of y'all was like, yo, $62 is a lot. It's on sale for $25. Hit the link and get your card games. All right, let's get back to it.
About this RICO charge, they have to be very clear about who they believe was a part of this conspiracy and the acts that they took to further the conspiracy, along with the underlying predicate crimes. They've done a great job with the transportation for prostitution because that's very clear. We see the bank records, we've seen them testify, we've seen the money move, and we know why they were there. So that charge is there. For the trafficking, that's going to be very hard, but what they have to do is hone in on the idea that these are not acts they would have done but for the force. In the case of Cassie, we know that she was being physically abused. And in the case of Jane, the idea that he was paying her rent and holding that over her head is why she chose to engage in those acts.
Okay.
So this is actually why I discounted my card games right here. Thank you, October 3074, for reading my mind. I discounted my card games because 4th of July is coming up. And during 4th of July, everybody's having picnics, and this is a good opportunity for everybody to have different games to play. So I actually forgot to say that. So everybody right now, get both card games because everybody's going to be going to cookouts and get-togethers on 4th of July, and you don't want to go to the event empty-handed. Come in with a Deeper Discussions card game, or come in with a mother-daughter card game and say, hey, I got this fun card game. Y'all want to play it? And they're going to be like, good, because we ain't got shit to do anyway. So get your card games. This card game right here is $62, but is on sale for $25. So that means you can buy both card games for the price of this one card game. So click the link and get your card game so you can be ready and prepared for 4th of July.
Be beneficial for your case. Less is more sometimes, especially with these type of sprawling charges.
And now it's time for the closing arguments. But what does each side need to do? Sean, I'm going to start with you. Take the prosecution for us. What do they need to do in the closing arguments?
So the prosecution really needs to shore up their cases and connect the dots for the jury. When we're talking about this RICO charge, they have to be very clear about who they believe was a part of this conspiracy and the acts that they took to further the conspiracy, along with the underlying predicate crimes. They've done a great job with the transportation for prostitution because that's very clear. We see the bank records, we've seen them testify, we've seen the money move, and we know why they were there. So that charge is there. For the trafficking, that's going to be very hard, but what they have to do is hone in on the idea that these are not acts they would have done but for the force. In the case of Cassie, we know that she was being physically abused. And in the case of Jane, the idea that he was paying her rent and holding that over her head is...
Yo, I just need to say this, and some of y'all may get mad, but beating somebody's ass is not always forcing someone to do something. In a lot of cases, these domestic violence situations, the dude just has a habit of going upside the woman's head. It's not he's trying to make her do something. It's if she talks back or if this happens or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So June says, are you going to make other car games? Yes. Yes. I have another car game coming. Yes. Yes. I'm making more car games. 1000%. I'm trying to get another trademark through. And once the trademark goes through, the next car game is going to go in production.
Why she chose to engage in those acts.
Okay, so that's the prosecution.
Yes.
What about the defense, Dan?
Consent and reasonable doubt.
And I'm not saying that it's okay to hit somebody. I'm saying most of the time when the dudes be hitting the women, it's not because he's trying to keep her or something. It's just out of habit or whatever. You know, like some of these dudes have emotional issues. Abusive men, they have emotional issues. And you know, they get mad and they punch a wall. They're not trying to get a wall to do something when they punch it. They're just angry. So let me just clarify this. Most abusive situations is because of outside stimulus. He's broke. He can't get no good job. He feels less than a man. His childhood trauma. He was groomed by older men to think that it's okay to, you know, a woman. It's not usually trying to trap the woman or make the woman do something. It's out of outside just thoughts. It's like he's taking his frustration out on the woman, if that makes any sense. So it's not like, do this or this is going to happen. No, you can do it and do it perfectly. He's still going to do something to you because in his mind, he's frustrated with his life and he's just taking his frustration out on the woman. So it's not no type of slavery situation in most of these abusive relationships. You can do everything right. He's still going to beat your ass. And ladies, let me know if I'm wrong. Say right or wrong in the chat, ladies, because I would love to see, you know, what you think about this, because I'm not a woman. I can just go off of, you know, the 7 years of me there, you know, counseling women. But am I right or wrong? Most men slap women around out of pure frustration that's going on in his head, not him trying to get her to do something. So let me know, ladies.
Right, that the two key witnesses here were in long-term relationships with him, that they could have left, that they continued to engage with him. That's number one. And number two is going to be the legal standard, right? Is going to be saying, look, they have to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. Look at the technical definitions of these charges. That's not domestic violence. We're talking about racketeering here. We're talking about sex trafficking. That's what they're going to focus on, and in the hope that they say they just don't have it.
So Diddy might be coming home much sooner than a lot of people think. The federal prosecutors dropped a lot of charges today. Those charges consist of the kidnapping charges, that arson charge, and multiple trafficking charges. Yeah, they dropped those. Now, everybody followed this trial, and we all know some things added up and some things didn't add up. But apparently the prosecution felt the same exact way. They felt like they didn't prove those trafficking charges. And even Diddy's team didn't let Diddy take the stand, nor did they call any witnesses to the stand for Diddy. Now remember, Diddy has a RICO charge. With all of those charges being dropped, they might not be able to prove that it's a RICO case. And you know what that means, right? A lot of people were saying that Diddy might get life. This right here could change every bit of that. This right here might just make Diddy a free man. Now my question is what do you think? Y'all think Diddy coming home? And how fast do you think Diddy is coming home? Because if those jurors say not guilty, Diddy is gonna walk that day.
And like I said before, I'll reiterate on what I think is about to happen, because I said this before, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but some of y'all didn't hear me say this. What is going to happen, in my humble opinion, the jury is not going to deliberate. The last second, the prosecution is going to offer a plea deal to the defense of Diddy. The reason why they're going to do this is because they need some type of guilty plea instead of the thought of him going free. This is the federal government, and they have a record and a standard to live by, which means that it has to be a guilty conviction, even if it's for 1 year. So once they get to the point where they just like, this man's about to go free, which is about to happen. That's why they're dropping charges now, because they don't have nothing. The majority of this case, this trial, has literally been about baby oil and KY goddamn jelly. It's the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my whole goddamn life. How many times have y'all watched or heard or read, on Twitter, these idiots ask somebody sitting on stand, did you use baby oil? Or did you use KY jelly? How much KY jelly was over here? I had to go buy KY jelly. KY jelly, baby oil, KY jelly. Every goddamn person that they had on stand, the only conversation that they had with the goddamn person was about KY jelly, Astroglide, and baby oil. So, because of how stupid and idiotic this whole trial is, like, I thought they was going to talk about Tupac getting murked, Biggie getting murked, Kim Porter, some evidence about Kim Porter getting poisoned, Kim Porter's boyfriends getting poisoned, Craig Mack getting murked. Like, none of that came up. Nothing having to do with anything that we've been talking about. Nobody talked about the tunnels. Nobody's talked about anything pertaining to this man actually being who we know him as being. All they've been talking about is goddamn KY jelly, Astroglide, and baby oil. So because of all this, what is going to happen is the prosecution is going to realize that they don't have a goddamn case. So they're going to go to them and say, okay, we're going to give you a plea deal. And the defense is going to be like, you got jokes. Okay, I'll listen to the plea deal. No, it's okay. We just want a guilty plea. We know he's about to walk, but we cannot allow this man to walk. We're the federal government. Okay, what you got? 1 year after time served, so 1 more year in jail, or I don't even think you can go to prison for 1 year. 1 year in a rehab facility, 6 months of anger management, and 5 years of probation. That's what's going to happen. They're not going to deliberate with the jury. The jury is not going to stand up and give a guilty or a not guilty plea. Because the government already knows that they're going to say not guilty. Because y'all got to understand this. Every person on the jury has to be a unanimous guilty plea. I'll say it again. It has to be a unanimous guilty plea. So that means if one person says not guilty and everybody else says guilty, you now have a hung jury and it's over. So to keep that from happening, there will be a plea bargain. So that's what's going to happen. I can guarantee it.
Jump in the comments. Shit is about to get crazy.
Diddy's charges or the predicate acts under the RICO charge are not being dismissed against Diddy. And now it's time to try to clean up some of the confusion that's happening from the mainstream media reporting on this and other people just like myself. So let's get into it. After watching my friend on here, the Kent Law Firm, and Law and Crime Network break this all down, they believe that this is just the prosecution wanting to remove attempted arson and attempted kidnapping, which means there's still arson arson and kidnapping under the RICO charge. It's just going to make the jury instructions simpler to understand.
Wait, so he's being still charged with arson? He's just not being charged with attempted arson? He's still being charged with kidnapping, but he's not being charged with attempted kidnapping? You have to attempt to do something to do it. What?
The same thing is going with the aiding and abetting of trafficking that we also knew they threw out. They only wanted to say trafficking instead of aiding and abetting. Now at 2 p.m. there is a charge conference where we should be learning more about this because the prosecution's letter has honestly put out a lot of confusion the way they worded it. But after hearing the Kent law firm break this down and the Law and Crime Network, I assume what they said about the attempted arson and attempted kidnapping just being restricted to make it easier for the jury to understand is the most likely probability. This is something that I will be watching to see if we have any more information throughout the day, because we do know that Diddy's lawyers were arguing about these specific crimes yesterday, saying that there was no evidence of neither one of them. But for now, y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
And I have a special treat for y'all. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all liked the videos. I haven't played one in a while where a guy went to a party, and then he went to this church looking place and his friend stayed at the party. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember that. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember the story time that I played about the white guy that went to the party and his friend stayed at the party, and it was a whole bunch of weird ritual stuff. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember that. I created my own story time video, and I'll play it for y'all if y'all would like me to. But I need some type of contribution, whether it's Cash App or Super Chat, in the chat in the next 10 to 15 minutes. All right? So y'all don't have to do nothing. But if y'all want me to hang out a lot more, play this story time video that is super interesting. Is about me getting carjacked and how I got away from 5 carjackers. Pulled up at a gas station and almost got carjacked. But if you want to know what happened in that story, I need some contributions, whether it's Cash App or Super Chat or card game sales. So get to work, and we'll keep with these videos, and then I'll hang out with the story time afterwards.
I don't do this, but let's break them off a little something on.
Listen to this. This is interesting.
I'm not trying to be rude. Normally, I don't post this many times a day, but overwhelming comments have been coming out, and been watching the news incorrectly report that the government is throwing out sex trafficking, arsoning counts against Combs. Now, first, it must be realized the government filed a letter last night, and let's read the first paragraph of the letter so you understand. The government understands the court's desire for streamlined instruction. Streamlined. With that in mind, the government has suggested ways to streamline the instructions, making them more simple. Specifically, the government has removed instructions from the charge relating to attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law, attempted arson under California law, and aiding and abetting sex trafficking. The government no longer plans to proceed on those theories of liability, so instructions are not necessary. So what has happened here is that, the government is throwing out the sex trafficking, the government is throwing out the arson. No. Normally, when you are in trial and the judge gives a jury charge, so people in the courtroom get ready, a jury charge on a 1-count indictment can take 45 minutes to an hour. So imagine all of this. The judge is thinking, wait, I've got to explain to the jury arson, then attempted arson, and then aiding and abetting arson. And the government's like, let's just streamline this completely. So if you go and you look at the jury before today, this is what the government, remember I read about it the other day, the prosecutor's proposed jury instruction said the following. If you find the defendant guilty of count 1, then please indicate whether the pattern of racketeering activity that the defendant agreed would be committed involved arson, attempted arson, including aiding and abetting arson, or conspiracy to commit arson in violation of California law. All they're saying is let's streamline it, Judge, and let's say the following. If you found the defendant guilty of count 1, then please indicate whether the pattern of racketeering activity that the defendant agreed would be committed involved arson in violation of California law. This also goes with the sex trafficking. If you found the defendant guilty of count 1, then please indicate whether the pattern of racketeering activity that the defendant agreed would be committed involved kidnapping, including attempted kidnapping, aiding and abetting kidnapping, or conspiracy to commit kidnapping in violation of New York law. Translation, they're going to limit all that to say the defendant agreed would be committed involved kidnapping in violation of New York law. Streamline. That is all that means, is that they are trying to streamline the process. I do not believe that the federal government has sent a random letter that says we are now dismissing the arson and the kidnapping and the sex trafficking charges. They're trying to streamline it because the judge has basically made it seem like this is too long. If we have to explain and go through all of this, everybody go together and try to streamline this process so the law that I explained to the jury is significantly easier. Bounce, 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 bounce. Take that, take that, take that, take that, take that.
Okay. So according to that, I don't even understand. This whole thing done got so goddamn confusing. But somebody brought up Simone, so I'm about to pull her up. Somebody said pull up what Simone said. So I'm going to her live stream, and she did post something that's interesting. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see my screen. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see my screen of Simone. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see my screen of a woman talking. All right, so let's do this. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see my screen of a woman talking. Can y'all see it? Just want to make sure y'all can see it. Okay, cool. All right, so let's check out what she has to say. So what she is saying is this one sentence could let Diddy walk free. So check this out. This is attorney Simone Redwine with an Y. Attorney Simone Redwine.
Because this very well, it could be Diddy's last week in his sale, honey. This could be it. It could be timed up for him. Or hit that like as you come on in. Or it could be that, he's just going to get transferred to another sale somewhere else. What do you guys think? I want to know in the chat. Yep. Let me know where you're watching from. And also, yes, I do have Dallas, Texas. Okay. What do you think the verdict's going to be? Remember, it's 3 different charges. So what we're going to talk about today, we are going to discuss these jury instructions. Well, correction, it is the jury verdict form to be specific. Yes, if you're new here, hit that
So the jury verdict form is one of the things that has changed.
Sorry, I'm looking a little ashy by the lips. But yes, so I just want to be clear. So these are the verdict forms. It's not the jury questionnaire yet. Right now, it's just a verdict form that we're going to go over. I'm going to share it with you guys. I want to get your thoughts. Cases are won and lost based on the jury form. And we've been talking about this case. We've been talking about the Diddy case, for the last 5-6 weeks now. And one of the things that we were talking about is it's just these offenses are not at all what I was expecting. I don't think it's what most people were expecting. We were expecting some of the stuff that Tony Busby talked about in his press conferences. We were expecting more of the things that Lil Rod talked about in his civil petition. The whole, drugging people and drugging girls and putting stuff in their alcohol, perhaps in the Ciroc bottle, or maybe it was, substances in the baby oil. So now that we're here, guys, I don't know. I think for the average jury, they're definitely going to need some really clear instructions. Let me tell you this. I was in that courtroom daily. And when I sat in that courtroom, listening to testimony, I tell you what, it took me around about 2-3 days to figure out what the hell was the charge for Jane. I didn't know what the charge was, at least for like the first day to day and a half. I was like,
y'all see that, right? This is what I'm talking about. And she's a whole lawyer. So if the lawyer is confused, what do you think the jury is? The jury is confused as hell.
okay, what's he charged with regarding this witness? That's not a good sign. So let's just go ahead. I'm gonna start putting them up. So what I'm gonna put up first on the screen, this is the verdict sheet that the defense has proposed. Gonna keep it nice and simple. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this trial was definitely anticlimactic. Question is, has RICO been proven? We finna see. Yeah, the prosecution is definitely gonna need a great closing. They're gonna need to bring it on home. And the challenge is, I don't feel like any of the witnesses that they presented, I got here a week late, so I did not see Cassie, but I didn't feel like any of the witnesses, except for day one with Mia, really moved me to feel any way emotionally for them. Okay. All right, so the verdict form, this is what is proposed by the defense. So the defense proposes one, the government proposes one, and then the judge hears the objections and he comes up with his own version. I wish I could do side by side. Hold on, let me see if there's a way to do side by side. I don't think so, because they're all media. Let me see. That must right. No, it's not. Okay. There you go. We'll leave it this way. I wish I could do side by side, but basically both sides propose, then the judge decides. Now, I want to let you know, verdict form is different than the jury instructions. Jury instructions are very dry and boring. I'll show you an example from the R. Kelly case real quick. The jury instructions are what helps them get to saying yes or no on the verdict form. Hit that like as you come on in here, right? I promise this is going to be dry and boring. I'm also going to keep it simple. All right, so it's already 7:08. Chop. All right, so the verdict form is super simple. So it's 2 pages. Look at this. It's 2 pages for the defense. This is what they want us. They just want to ask. Count one. So there's only 4 counts, 5 counts. There's basically, the first count is racketeering. Then it's trafficking Cassie. It's the man act of Cassie. That's taking her state to state as a hooker. Then there's trafficking Jane and taking Jane state to state as a hooker. Those are the 5 counts. Mind you, they didn't have Jane until April. So before that, it was just these first 3. But here we go. They just want us to ask, defense wants to know, how do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty? If you answer not guilty as to count 1, it says just proceed to count 2. And count 2 would be, now you have to evaluate whether he trafficked Cassie. But then it says, if you answer guilty, you got to put below there, which racketeering acts do you unanimously believe the defendant agreed would be committed? Notice the word is agreed. This is not saying, racketeering is not even saying that he did it. It's just that he agreed for it to occur. So that's how come the arson could be presented, right? They're not saying, did he arson the man? Set the man's car on fire. They're just saying he agreed that if it happened, hey, we don't care. So that he agreed would be committed. So, but notice, this leaves it to them to figure out which of the ones.
All right, right now, do y'all understand what she is saying? Because this is a lot of like, what do y'all think what she's saying? Like, let me know what y'all thinking in the chat. What do you get from what she's saying?
They're going to agree. So this is wise for the defense, because that's going to create all kind of confusion. And more than likely, if that's the only question, it's going to be so disorganized up in there that people are not going to unanimously agree, or it'll be very hectic and confusing to get people to process unanimously agree on each one.
Right.
Yeah. Teray said, those are too simple, right? But see, that's what the defense wants. They did a good job. The defense wants it to just be super simple. So you can just be like, no, you don't have to think about it. How many goats are getting sacrificed to get Diddy out? All right. And so then that's count 1. Let me just show you real quick. Count 2 is the trafficking. How do you find the defendant? Guilty or not guilty? That's it. All right, Mann Act transportation. Did you take her as a hooker across state lines? Yes or no? Guilty or not guilty? Guilty or not? Now, we're going to compare it. We better compare it to the government's form. Now, this government form, that one was 2 pages, this 4. First of all, and I want to see your questions. I lost you with the last one. Which one? The Mann Act. So the Mann Act, that was the transportation for prostitution. That was that charge. I clearly see RICO. So remember, the simpler the form is, probably the more likely he's going to get a not guilty, right? Because nobody wants to have to sit there and think, like, remember, each of these crimes, they're not traditionally what the average person would think trafficking looks like, or what they would think kidnapping looked like, or arson, or whatever. So you really have to think about the definition, unless you just want to be like, nope, not guilty. I don't want to think about it. Here we go. All right, so this is the government form. So here we go. Same thing, government, racketeering. How do you find the defendant with respect to count 1, racketeering, conspiracy? Guilty or not guilty. So that's A. But wait a minute. Here's what's different on this one. This one, below that, instead of the defense just had that one little simple piece of paper, below that, that was like, well, which ones do y'all agree on? And it's going to be none of them. Like, which ones do y'all agree on? There you go.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, I gotta redo it. Here we go. Here we go. Share screen. It dropped off for some reason. All right, here we go.
Like, you got to put on the blank. Here we go. First one. Is he guilty or not guilty of racketeering? And then you're supposed to put on the break. So the thing is, without this, all the jurors have to go through one by one and figure out, if any, do they all unanimously agree? Whereas the government's one makes it super organized. So here's the government one. All right, it's A, B, C, whatever. So it says, if you have found the defendant guilty of racketeering, please indicate whether the pattern of racketeering activity the defendants agreed would be committed involved kidnapping, or included attempted napping, aiding and abetting napping, or conspiracy to commit napping. And
what? Yo, this shit is crazy. All this napping. This is crazy. I'm glad she's showing these forms. This is very insightful and helpful. And I see that it says guilty, not guilty. And down here it says proven and not proven. So you have found the defendant guilty of count 1. Then please indicate whether the pattern of keyword pattern of racketeering activity that the defendant agreed would be committed involving kidnapping. See, now I'm confused. If I was a juror, including attempted kidnapping, aiding and abetting kidnapping, or conspiracy to commit kidnapping, I'd be like, man, I don't damn know. You want regular, normal working people to be figuring all this shit out. This is too much.
In violation of California law. Oh, that was for the Kid Cudi one with Capricorn card. But check it below. It doesn't say guilty or not guilty. It just says proven or not proven.
Right.
So the jurors have to go through each one and be like, okay, all 12, do we agree? The next one, same thing for kidnapping, but this is for New York law. This is when they took her into that the business warehouse or whatever for 5 days in a row and made her take lie detectors. Then C.
Quick question. Am I just dumb, or are y'all looking at it like, what the hell? Like, am I the only one that's slow right now? I'm looking at all this mess, and I'm looking like these are bus drivers, school teachers, just normal everyday. This is too much shit to be sitting here trying to figure out. Look, just give me the paper. Did he do it or did he not do it? I ain't reading all this shit. Am I wrong? Am I just slow or low attention? Is it that I got ADD or something? Like, what are y'all thoughts? Is this too much for a normal everyday person that is not a lawyer to be going through all this shit? This is too much. I'd be like, man, I don't damn know. What I gotta do? I'd be raising my hand like, what now? Like the person be like, what now? What are you talking about? What is this? Am I wrong or is it just me? Like this shit is too much. I be raising my hand like I'm in school.
This is for the charge of arson. Now, peep this. The language is that the defendant simply agreed would be committed. And that indicate whether the pattern of racketeering activity that the defendant agreed would be committed involved either arson, attempted arson, including aiding and abetting arson. Who knows what that means? They got to define it. Or conspiracy to commit arson.
Wait, what are you talking about? They got to define it. They got to sign a piece of paper and they don't even know what the hell is happening. Hold on. Listen to what she just said. Listen to what she just said.
Indicate whether the pattern of racketeering activity that the defendant agreed would be committed involved either arson, attempted arson, including aiding and abetting arson. Who knows what that means? They got to define it.
Who got to define it? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? This is the end of the goddamn trial. Like, are they in class where they can raise their hand and ask the teacher, like, hey, what does this mean? Or are they in the room by themselves? Just like, who has to define it? Has it already not been defined?
Or conspiracy to commit arson in violation of California. So basically, it could just be conspiracy, attempt. He doesn't have to do it himself. D says, if you found the defendant guilty of racketeering in count 1, indicate whether the pattern of activity the defendant agreed would be committed involved bribery, including attempted bribery, like if they did take the money, bribery, attempted bribery, aiding and abetting bribery, or conspiracy to commit bribery in violation of Cali, proven or not proven. E, whether the defendant agreed would be committed involved any tampering with a witness or victim.
So there's nobody in the room with them to ask questions. So they just gonna have somebody else's fate in their hands, and they don't even know what the hell they signing.
Mm-hmm. Proven or not proven. So D and E are the two where I'm like, I think he's gonna be in trouble. D and E. Keep that in mind. Then F. If you found blah 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 blah, F is forced labor. I still don't remember what forced labor is, and I'm a lawyer. Sorry guys, I don't remember.
See, there's no forced labor.
Who was the forced labor? Whoever it was. I don't know. Maybe it was Cassie. I'm confused. The jury instructions are what has to define each law and apply it to the facts here. And that's what they read over and argue over to decide how to check the boxes on this form. And then G is X trafficking. Now check this out. This is how they did it. So we're on 2. Now we're on page 3. So it's simple, but not. So then now it says, again, they're still having the jury have to go through each of the RICO underlying crimes to decide which ones they agree was proven or not proven. And H is committed, whether he committed any crimes he committed involved transportation for purposes of prostitution, proven or unproven.
All right, that's enough. And she's doing a great job, so I'm not mad at Simone. So she ain't doing nothing wrong. Shout out to Simone Redwine. Shout out to her. But that's an example of what the jury is expecting to do. This man going home. Don't nobody even know what the hell all that shit mean. Aaron, I don't think this is the right one. She just uploaded another one just an hour ago. This was an hour ago. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Maybe it was a pre-recorded video. Let's see. Feds. Oh. Okay, talking about this one. All right, hold on. All right, so I'm going by what somebody in the chat said. So they're saying, check this one out. Okay, let's see.
Charges in case this trial focus narrows. And then we've got Hollywood Unlocked, Diddy trial, prosecutors drop kidnapping, arson, certain sex trafficking charges. Okay, and people are up in arms, baby. Why would you get rid of arson? They're like, my question is, why would they do this right before a verdict? Let me tell you something. First off, thank you for asking, because a lot of people did in the comments. And I'm going to say this. It's not that people are out here lying. It's just a lot of them just don't know no better, honey. They don't know no better. They're not lawyers. They may or may not have been in the courtroom each day, but that's why you come to me, right? Because I won't always be first, but I will be accurate. I can't always be first, y'all, because I do have a real job.
So yes, that is why I, just like y'all, are always open to other people's perspectives, because we trying to get an understanding. So shout out to Simone Redwine for dropping some knowledge. So yes, she is an asset for sure.
I have actual clients. I got to tend to them first. So let's break down what really did happen. So what did happen is last night, let's move this from the stage. Last night, the feds filed a letter. They filed a letter with the court. And here's an excerpt, the relevant part of the letter. In that letter, it says the government understands the court's desire for streamlined instructions. It says, with that in mind, the government has suggested ways to streamline those instructions. Specifically, the government has removed instructions from charges relating to attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law. So those were the alleged kidnappings of Capricorn Clark. New York was when they put her in that warehouse room for 5 consecutive days, making her take that lie detector. And then it was also with Capricorn Clark in California when allegedly Diddy came there at Pow Pow Point and made her ride with him to go and try and unalive Kid Cudi. Those were those two. Secondly, they said that they are going to remove the attempted arson under California law pertaining to Kid Cudi's car. And finally, aiding and abetting as trafficking. They're going to get rid of those. In quote, it says, the government is no longer planning to proceed on these theories of liability, so instructions are no longer necessary. Here's the thing. That is not any way, shape, or form dropping charges. First of all, you can't drop charges that were never initially filed. He was never charged with kidnapping, arson, or aiding and abetting. What he was charged with was RICO.
I'm so confused. What?
These are underlying RICO offenses. If you've seen my Instagram post, I'll show it later in this, but if you've seen my Instagram post, you're familiar that what did happen was I did a little RICO breakdown.
Attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law. Attempted arson under aiding and... The government understands the court's desire to streamline instructions, keyword instructions. With that in mind, the government has suggested ways to streamline these instructions. So these are instructions and not charges. The government has also attempted to simplify the language relating to Court 1, a proposal as explained in the government's comment bubbles.
That's actually, it looks something like this. I'm just going to play a snippet of it for you real quick.
People are asking, where's the RICO? I'm your legal bestie, attorney Simone. I break down celebrity cases on social media. Here's what has to be shown. Number 1, that there's an enterprise. Number 2, that there's an agreement within the enterprise to operate for a common goal, and that there's a pattern of racketeering activity. First, we know there's an enterprise. It's literally called Sean Combs Enterprises. But
you get the gist. So the point is, these were never charges. You can't drop charges that weren't brought.
And the thing is, it's legally incorrect to say that the government has dropped charges. Specifically, what the government has said is, quote, the government is no longer planning to proceed on these theories of liability. The theory just refers to the specific aspects of how it's done. It doesn't mean it wasn't actually done. So the truth is, all the charges are still there. They're just saying that in their closing arguments, they're going to focus on specific ways in which crimes were accomplished. That makes sense. Because at the end of the day, the prosecution doesn't know exactly what evidence is going to be presented until it's presented. Here's what did happen. So what happens is, first of all, let's be clear. They're saying they're dropping attempted kidnapping under both of those states' laws and attempted arson. Let's look at the indictment real quick. I'm gonna make this a quick video because I'm going back to court today, so I don't have time to be playing with y'all. I got to get you straight in the narrow. And if you got anybody out there that keeps repeating this inaccurate story, you got to tell them, oh, you should meet my legal bestie. Say it real nice, not nice, nasty. You got to say it nice because they just don't know no better, okay? You got to say, you got to meet my legal bestie on YouTube, okay? Because here's what did happen. Now, first, I'm going to show you an excerpt. This is from the indictment. So the top part is the letter I just read. The bottom part is the indictment. Listen, what does the indictment say? That there are multiple acts involving kidnapping, right? This is YouTube kidnapping, chargeable under the following states. And here are the different provisions that were charged that he's being pursued for related to kidnapping. And that is attempt, it is aiding and abetting the kidnapping, conspiracy, as well as kidnapping itself, as in the completed act of kidnapping. So what you'll see here is what I did is I took my little marker and read, and I cut out what the government said. They're no longer attempting. So under kidnapping, it's merely they're not going after attempted kidnapping. They are still going after kidnapping. Hello, order in the courthouse. Okay, they're still going after that component. And here's why. Well, it makes sense. We don't want to confuse the jury. These instructions are complicated enough. No need to confuse the jury because at the end of the day, you either kidnapped him or you didn't. You kidnapped her or you didn't, right? So you don't want the jury to be like, well, competing between the two. It either happened or it didn't happen. So therefore, it makes sense. Take out the attempt. Secondly, same thing with arson, right? With arson, here's how that's going to look. With arson, they did the same thing. You either burnt up the boy's car or you didn't. In this instance, we saw photos of the completion. And at the end of the day, hey, in my opinion, the arson charges were really weak. I think it's one of the weaker charges. So I don't think you were going to get 12 people to agree on arson anyway. But to be clear, they only eliminated attempted arson. Now, I want to show you, I'm going to show you what's important is looking at this right here is the indictment section. But look, I'm going to also show you what the jury form looks like. Here on the screen is kidnapping, and then we're going to do it again for arson. This is kidnapping from the indictment. This is the jury verdict form. This is the only change. So on A, if they're going to ask the jury, if you found the defendant guilty of count 1, which is racketeering specifically, then please indicate what patterns of racketeering activity the defendant agreed would be committed. That involved kidnapping, no longer attempt, right? But still aiding and abetting kidnapping, or conspiracy to commit kidnapping.
All right. Thank you so much for that clarity that just confused me even more. But shout out to her, Simone Redwine. She is super dope. Shout out to her. Shout out to Khadijah on TikTok. Shout out to her. But I don't know what the hell all this stuff is. I'm more confused than I was at first. So I don't know if my live stream was right or it was wrong. I don't know what the hell is going on now. Just being real. I don't know. But do y'all know? Because I have an issue where if somebody keeps talking in a certain type of way and just technical talk, I don't listen anymore. And I just kind of like start thinking about what I'm going to eat later on. Am I the only one? Like I can pull over and say, hey, can you tell me how to get over there to this place? If they say make a left at so-and-so street and then make a right, after they say make a right, if they give me more instructions, I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat the next day. I don't blanked out. I blank out pretty quick. If y'all are confused, put yes. I like that. I like that. I like that. If y'all are confused by all of this, or to this day still confused, drop question marks in the chat. I love that. Thank you, October 3074. I just started my immigration like Muppet babies. What? I just I just started my imagination. Exactly. Exactly. Everybody drop question marks in the chat if y'all are still confused, because I'm confused. I thought I was going to come over here and say, yeah, these charges are dropped. This nigga's going to get off. Now, I don't know what the hell going on. The charges dropped. The charges not dropped. What the hell? You people have fun in here. It won't last long. You're going to tell the feds how the law works. Okay, come on, use common sense. I don't know. I'm just doing a video trying to get my share clarity. But I don't got no damn clarity. So I don't know. So drop question marks in the chat or in the comments if y'all are as confused as I am. I don't know the hell going on. Felicia, I started thinking about when I'm finally put out my... Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just gonna tell y'all what I'm looking at. I'm telling you what, this is what I'm looking at. I ain't thinking about what that damn lady. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh man. Man, while she up here talking, I'm like, ooh, who is this? I ain't think about what the hell she talking about. I'm like, all right, I'll let this play for you. Man, I don't know what the hell going on. I'm confused. What is he being charged? I don't know. I had a grasp on this, but after today, I don't know what the hell is going on. Motion for mistrial for sure. Yes. That's a given. Yes. But yeah, I'm over here looking at chicks shaking their asses. Oh my God. Hold on. I don't know what the hell going on. Hold on. Let me show you. I'm looking at chicks shaking their asses. I don't know what's going on. Like, look, this is what I'm looking at. So while she's talking, I'm looking at chicks half naked sweeping the floor. I don't know what the hell going on. This is what I'm looking at. So y'all can, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking at chicks sweeping the floor with booty shorts on. So I don't know. sorry, but I phase out. I'm like, yeah. Here we go. This is what I'm looking at. Yeah, this is what I'm looking at. So while she's like, oh yeah, the jury trial, I'm like, This is what I'm looking at. And if I got time for all this shit, I don't know. I don't know. Exactly. So sorry, y'all, but I'm trying to add clarity, but I don't have clarity. So sorry. Yes, it is broccoli time, and y'all ain't contributed to the channel at all. So I'll leave the story time for another day. I logged off when you put her on. Yo, shout out to Simone now. Come on now. Don't do her like that. She's dope. She's dope. Don't do her like that. But yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on. Yeah. I'm agreeing with you. The devil just dropped a time bomb in the middle of the case, and the word confusion is marked on it. Exactly. I don't know what the hell is going on. Let me tell y'all something. I understand what's going on with the Iran-Israel war more than I understand the Diddy case now. I want y'all to think about that. I can break down the Iran-Israel situation and Trump better than I can break down the Diddy case as of right now. Because after today, I don't know what the hell is going on. Because I thought shit was just dismissed. So, Aaron, I made salmon the other day. It was delicious. It wasn't as good as my salmon. My salmon be like, woo! So yeah, I'm sure your salmon was good. I bet it was a little crunchy. But mine? But I'm out. I'll play my story time another time because y'all didn't contribute. So I'm out. So talk to y'all later. I thought I was doing this video to give y'all clarity, but I did this video to simply confuse the shit out of y'all. So thank me later. But I'm out. You know what? Fuck it. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all want to see the story time. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all want to see the story time right now. If y'all want to see the story time video, put a 1 in the chat if y'all want to see the story time video. I'll play it. I need cash apps and 1s in the chat, and I'll play this story time better. I don't know about compound butter. I don't know what that is. All right. All right. I already saw it on Facebook. All right. Shout out to you, Big Dave. All right. So you saw it on Facebook. Come on, I need 1s in the chat, and I'll play the story time video. Shout out to Big where you go? Where's shout out to Big Dave. Said he saw it on Facebook. All right, so I'm gonna play it right here for y'all. Because I think it was pretty dope. And I created this myself. I'm gonna do more of these if y'all like it. All right, here we go. Jacking gone. All right, so hold on. Let me put it right here. Put on big screen. All right, so I created this whole thing by myself. This is my personal story. Check this out. Gas station carjacking gone wrong. It was a rainy Thursday night, and I was running late for work at my night job, but I was almost on E, so I stopped at a creepy gas station, and when I pulled in, there were sketchy young guys standing around. I work in a sketchy part of town, but if I don't hurry up and get gas and go to work, I'll get written up again. So I pulled up at the pump, and it said pay inside. So you mean I have to walk past these sketchy dudes? I walk into the gas station and realize I left my wallet in the car, and I made a mistake and said this out loud. Before I can make my way back to my car, the 2 guys that were near the door that overheard me say that I left my wallet in my car made a beeline outside towards my car and just stood around. I was so in a rush where my cell phone and my wallet were still in the car. I nervously walked back to my car and get my wallet and grab my cell phone because at this point they knew what was all in the car. The second I opened the driver's side door, one of the guys jumps in my passenger side and we start fighting over my wallet.
Hey, how about we meet up at a coffee shop and play this fun dating card game? We'll have fun and see if we're compatible all at the same time.
Ooh, what's the name of the game?
It's called Deeper Discussions.
I'm down.
Okay, meet you at 6. A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.
I instantly used my other hand to hit the door lock button because now his friends are coming to help him. My first instinct was to drive away before I got jumped. So I hit the push to start button, threw the car and drive while the guy is still trying to get out of the car with my wallet. One of the guys outside the car jumps on the hood, holding on to the windshield wipers as I'm speeding away from the gas pump. The guy in the passenger seat starts punching me in the face with my wallet in his hand so I can barely see, especially when the other guy is laying on the hood of my car. I jump the curve and we're driving down the street full speed. The guy in the car grabs my keys out of my hand, so now he has my keys as well as my wallet. I immediately slam on brakes after going like 40 miles per hour. The guy on the hood aggressively falls off and the guy in the passenger seat hits his head on the dashboard. I grab my keys and my wallet and I jump out the car and take off into some woods. The problem is, since my car is still running, all they have to do is jump into the driver's side and they have my car. So I turn around and before either of the guys who are slightly stung by hitting their heads can climb into the driver's seat, I run back into the open door of the car and hit the button and cut the car off. I also grab my cell phone that's laying on the seat and now I'm going to run back in the woods and hide and just call 911. But to my left, I see the other 3 guys running towards me from the gas station. Now I'm running full speed through some woods with 5 guys chasing me. It's dark and I'm scared. As I'm aimlessly running through these woods, I noticed that these trees look climbable. I used to climb trees all the time when I was a kid. So I decided to stop running and start climbing. This instantly brought back memories of my childhood, and I still feel efficient at this. I climbed pretty high up this tree, and for the first time, I felt safe. But there was a huge problem. I dropped my phone as I was climbing, and not only is my phone on the ground, it's facing up, and the phone light is illuminating through the dark woods, so they now can see exactly where I'm hiding at. Plus, they can take my phone, which means I can't call the police. Within a couple seconds, the 5 guys see the lit up phone through the dark woods, surround a tree, and demand me to drop my wallet and my keys, or they'll start shooting in my direction. Apparently, one of the guys had a gun. Before I can even respond, one of them opens fire in my direction, but it's dark, so they can't exactly see where I am in the tree, so I don't get hit. Apparently, they ran out of bullets, and one of them is climbing up the tree trying to grab me. I'm a sitting duck with absolutely nowhere to go. All I can do is stand on this branch as they come up to throw me out of this tree. By the time the guy gets near me, not only is he out of breath, I can see my phone illuminating in the front pocket of his jogging pants. He gets close to me and looks down. He's never climbed a tree before. He's terrified. I don't think he thought this whole thing out. He literally is too afraid to say or do anything. He's just looking down at his feet, hoping he doesn't slip and fall because it's been raining, so the tree branches are wet. I'm now actually at an advantage. I tell him to give me my damn phone or I'll kick him out of the tree. He's so scared, he says, I can't reach my pocket. I don't want to fall. I reach over and patiently pull my phone out of his front pocket and dial 911. I can use my hands because I'm perched pretty comfortably on these 2 branches. I dial 911 and tell the police where I am. And I turn the flash on and I take a close-up picture of the guy and I tell him the police are coming and I have his picture. He looks at me and says, hey man, I'm scared to climb down. I got $40 in my other pocket. You can have it if you just let me go and don't show the police my picture. I grabbed the $43 that was in his other pocket and I coached him down the tree without him falling. And I tell him to tell his friends to go away and the police are coming. I wait about 30 minutes. I climb down, walk back to my car, stay hidden until I see the police cruiser pull up to the back of my car. And his nightmare is finally over. I get gas with the guy's $43. I head to work, but I'm 2 hours late for work and my clothes are muddy. I go into work, tell my supervisor what happened, and I show him the picture of the frightened dude with face tattoos in a tree about to pee on himself in the dark, hanging on for dear life. He looked at the picture, laughed, and he had no choice but to believe me and give me the rest of the night off. Just another episode of My Crazy Life TV. Follow My Crazy Life TV for more stories. All right, y'all. I'm creating a new channel. I'm just going to rename my other channel and I'm going to post different stories on there. Well, I'll talk about that later. So I'm out of here. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. If so, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, buy a card game, and contribute to the channel if you have not already. I got a couple cash apps, so I appreciate that. Hold on. Thank you, Julia, for the cash app. Thank you, Roderick, for the cash app. And thank you, Tashina, for the cash app. I appreciate it. So I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's day.
How about we meet up at a coffee shop and play this fun dating card game? We'll have fun and see if we're compatible all at the same time.
Ooh, what's the name of the game?
It's called Deeper Discussions.
I'm down.
Okay, meet you at 6.
Fellas, buy this card game. Ladies, buy this card game. Buy about 2 or 3 card games. The main reason why people can't stay together isn't because they don't like each other no more. It's actually because their present family issues come up or their past family issues come up. But when you play Deeper Discussions, you'll be able to understand a person's family issues up front.
This game can be played with either 2 people or an entire group. So have fun.
Question number 1. Name a time when money was the main factor why a relationship went bad.
Deeper Discussions Dating Edition. Again, these cards are good for vetting a potential boyfriend, a potential girlfriend, a potential husband, a potential wife. The texture of these cards are so soft and silky, by the way. Like
they ain't gonna get
really
wore out.
Durable.
A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.